WOVU-LP Cleveland.
WOVU
Now you're good to go.
95.9
Well,
FM.
since
of
that
Burton
goes,
Belt
do your
Car
thing. All right.
Community Radio
Okay.
Station.
Whew. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I like to-
welcome to
I like
Her
to
in the Huddle.
bring one down as I bring the other one
WOVU's
up.
Look at
Okay.
Sports
So that's why you
featuring
were still
the
there.
First Lady
Okay.
of Sports, Rachel Hill.
All right, what's up? You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I am here today with my co-host, Mr. Willie Epting Jr. He really likes it when you put the junior in there, so that's his name. So, I got to put some respect on that name and call him by his given name, Willie Epting Jr. How you doing today, sir? What's going on, man?
Cleveland is the city where we come from, so run. I'm good, and I appreciate that introduction because I really emphasize the junior on my name whenever I'm writing it, whenever I'm introducing myself, or when somebody's introducing me, because that is a way for me to honor my late great father who passed away just about, or actually a little more than 4 years ago. So I have made it a point of emphasis that junior be specifically and emphatically utilized.
My condolences, man. So yeah, make sure I use it and also give you your proper introduction. You would Shake Back Media Group, Shake Back Sports Show, all that. I need a scroll to roll out and give all the accolades that you are part of, but we'd be doing that the rest of the show. So, Shake Back Media Group, that's what people need to know. And then at the end of the show, we'll have you give all the things on how you can follow up. But how was your weekend, man? What's going on? I feel like it's been forever since I talked to you.
Well, Tuesday has become one of my favorite days of the week because of
really.
This show.
Why is that? Oh, you just feed me a line. You do like 80 shows. You just feed me a line.
This is all true, but like I said, this is becoming my second favorite day of the week, right behind Sunday.
You could at least lie to me.
No, I'm not.
That's a lie.
No, I'm telling you the truth. I do have all of that going on, but this is my second favorite day of the week because of this show.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, a lot of people might not know that you are located near Dallas, Texas. So you do this show with me. So appreciate that. And that's a wonderful thing, the things that technology can do. And you're kind of encapsulated by some teams over there, but you focus on these Cleveland sports teams so you can update these Cleveland sports fans about everything going on. So this past weekend was a huge weekend. So me and Kate talked a lot of football yesterday, about 45 minutes, but that's just what we do when football start up. But, I wanted to gauge your thoughts, opinions, and feelings. Did you get a chance to catch some of the Browns games at all, or did you get a chance to catch some of the highlights?
No and no, I did not.
Well, go ahead.
But from what I heard from John Suchan and from Kate Arhar, y'all might know her as Cleveland Kate, that they look very, very good, all things considered, which that is what you want. You want your second teamers, your third teamers, your special teamers to look good. They don't actually have to win, but they need to look good and they need to compete while they are looking good in hopes that you will result in a win. And I heard that is exactly what happened for the Cleveland Browns.
One of the things I like to do is I like to go back, and CBS usually posts highlights. I don't know how they do it, and I usually type in, Cleveland Browns highlight of whoever they played against, and they actually had highlights for the preseason game, which was a good thing. So I went back and watched a little bit of it today. But, it was almost, I've been waiting a long time. And I was telling our audience this yesterday. Here in Cleveland, we've been waiting a long time since that game against the Kansas City Chiefs, because we know what we could have been capable of. We know what kind of upset that we can pull off. So it's just been a long, draining exercise of waiting for football to start. And it finally did. And even though you didn't see the ones or on the ones on offense, the ones on defense, defense, you got a chance to see them. You got a chance to see the 2s and 3s, and you got a chance to see the players who are hungry, who are trying to make this team. So that was one of the good things that came out of it. And they came to play. They came and balled out. And, some of our draft picks, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I think I pronounced that right. I was looking at the pronunciation chart. He was just everywhere. Yeah, he was just everywhere. He was flying all around. That kid's going to be special. Hey, George. George said, what's up? What's up, George? We're going to get to that segment I was telling you about in a little bit, but me and Willie going to talk a little bit of football. Normally, I'd open up with baseball, but I opened up with some football because you talked about how that Sunday is your favorite day of the week. What did your Raiders do?
The Raiders beat the Seahawks. Nathan Peterman did not throw 5 interceptions in this game. He only threw 1. But if you remember when he was with the Buffalo Bills and they had that game against the Chargers when they were in San Diego still, Nathan Peterman came in for Tyrod Taylor and proceeded to throw 5 interceptions. And I think he had only 3 completions, something like that. So he came in and he looked decent. Again, the 1s and 2s did not play for the Raiders. No Derek Carr, no Darren Waller, no dynamic duo from the backfield that will be the best duo in the NFL. With Kenyon Drake as well as Josh Jacobs. They did not play. So it was just one of those things where you just want to go out there. You want to compete. You want to see what you got behind the guys that's going to be up front. And you hopefully can come out with a win, but you want to make sure that you look good and execute. And that's what they did.
Yeah, and y'all ones play?
Seattle. No, they didn't play. Nobody, none of the ones played.
So how those 2s and 3s look, though?
Fair to medium.
Okay.
Nah, I mean, but as far as the Raiders go, in my opinion, I mean, yeah, it's great for those kids to get out there and get some film and get some tape in hopes of making this roster, if not this one, one somewhere else. Again, I am ready to see this new defense that we have with Gus Bradley bringing that cover 3 scheme from the Jacksonville Jaguars, where he was very successful with the cornerbacks that he had with AJ Bouye as well as Jalen Ramsey back in the day. Can you understand, or can you believe that we're saying back in the day for Jalen Ramsey?
No.
But yeah, they had, and that was that year where they had Tom Brady on the brinks and the Patriots on the brink. They were up by 14, I want to say, in the third quarter. And you would figure that the defense that they had then would have been able to make it through, and they would have gone to the Super Bowl had they done that. And really, the Jaguars haven't been anything since. So I'm looking forward to seeing what our defense is going to do with this new scheme, as well as some of the pass rushers that we've commandeered throughout the off season.
And, I'm very excited to have you here for that Raiders game, but I just already want you to know I'm taking a look here at the unofficial depth chart, and I'm looking at, some of the people that we're going to cut, some of the people I expect to stay. And by the time that we get around to the Oakland Raiders game,
Vegas.
I'm sorry. You know what I mean? By the time we get around to that Vegas Raiders game, I'm still looking at it as an L because it's just – the Browns, they're going to be stacked on defense. I'm telling you, they're going to be stacked on offense. They're going to be stacked on defense. So I'm still with that 14-3. And it was just something about watching those 2s, 3s, and 4s play. Like, they looked good. They really looked good. And it was surprising as well because you don't know what you're going to get. But, think about like Hollywood Higgins was out there playing receiver, Donovan Peoples-Jones. So those are part of the 2. So they looked good out there. Case Keenum was, but the good thing is he knows that system. He's been with Kevin Stefanski before. So, if something, God forbid, happens to Baker Mayfield, I would feel confident having him in there. With him being able to execute and knowing Kevin Stefanski like he does and what's expected of him and being in that offense and knowing that offense, I'm really expecting the Browns to have a good year based on everything that I've seen, and people on defense came up big, some of those draft picks. Greg Newsome got out there for a little bit. He didn't look bad at all. But like I said, the star of the show was Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I think that was it. But they just look good overall. So what are your thoughts about Tim Tebow getting cut today. First of all, let me ask you before I ask you that. Did you get a chance to see the block on Sports Center or anything like that?
What block?
Exactly. So I was telling Kate yesterday, that reminds me of, do you remember when Tom Brady, like one of his first Instagram posts was him putting a block on the receiver, and all it was pretty much him sneezing. And he was like, actually threw a block, and literally it was just like him sneezing. And it was so doggone funny. That's what Tim Tebow reminds me of, the block that Tom Brady supposedly threw. And then they shake their shoulders like Thriller, like Michael Jackson and Thriller. And that was it. Exactly. And that was the block he threw. So I already knew that Tim Tebow wasn't going to be making his team. Yes, Nate, he did look awful in that game. Do you guys think that he should have been given one more chance to show what he can possibly do? Or that's it?
No.
Well, I mean, it is that it is. This is it. But should he been given another chance or
No? Absolutely not. And I love Tim Tebow as a person. I love the fact that he pursued his dreams. I actually thought that he would be able to make it at least to AAA ball with the Mets farm system. But in terms of look, this commentary has Rachel choked up. In terms of Tim Tebow's NFL career, dude, okay, it was nice to see you again. I was rooting for you because you are God's child. You are very, very spiritual, and you're not ashamed of Jesus Christ. You're not ashamed to call his name, and I love and respect you for that. However, as an NFL player, dude, no, sir. This is a position you've never even played before. Now, granted, he is an athlete, and you know what? He's 10 years too late to try to play tight end in the National Football League. He's 10 years too late. He should have done it when he was 24 or 25 instead of going, or he just turned 34 this past Saturday. So instead of turning 34, he should have done it back then. Now, I understand, of course, that he wanted to play quarterback, and he did lead the Broncos to a playoff win over the Steelers. Then they went to New England the next week, and he got showed up by a real quarterback. You remember that? They got blasted by the Patriots. 45.
I remember watching part of that game too, watching him do that, come back and them winning. And that was a huge thing because that's one of those, nobody said I can do it, but I did it.
Yeah, and you know what? Let me say this about Tim Tebow, because how much time we got before the break?
About 2 minutes.
Okay, let me say this about Tim Tebow real quick. Do you remember when Tebow took a knee?
Yeah, I do.
In protest of whatever he was protesting.
Oh, I didn't think he was protesting. I thought he was taking a knee for Jesus.
No. That was Ray Lewis that said that. Ray Lewis said that. Tim Tebow took a knee in protest of, and anybody out there on social media, chime in and help me out, because I want to say it was abortion. And nobody said a word. There was no issue. He took a knee at the national anthem as well. And then Colin Kaepernick takes a knee, and we never see him again. The only difference that I can see between, the only other obvious difference that I see between the two is that Colin Kaepernick could actually still play. And I remain questioning at this point, since really 2017, does Colin Kaepernick even want to play football anymore? And he hasn't really given any indication that he wants to, other than by saying that he wanted to play, which we never really heard him say, I want to play.
Well, he might have enough money in which he doesn't have to anymore, which I hope he does, because you have to look at it as well, besides the black and white thing, but also what Colin Kaepernick was asking for. And he was asking for political advancement of Black people in this country. And anytime there is any attempts at political advancement, it's always met with the white backlash. As you can see how it's fast and furious. Anytime you think about slavery, it was met with a war. You think about civil rights, it was met with, and you think about Reconstruction. Reconstruction was met with the Ku Klux Klan. Think about the Civil War, how, that sprang up. But even when civil rights, started and black people could swim, could share a pool, white people would pour acid in the pool so black people couldn't swim in there. You just think about every time black people have made an advancement. You think about the end for police brutality. You look at the white backlash to that. People stop being killed. You look at the systemic racism, how there's the denials of systemic racism. So anytime something is to benefit black people, there's always a white backlash to it. And that's exactly what you saw. So it was the cause, I think, obviously color and also cause that was part of that. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a break right quick. You are listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM, and we will be right back.
WOVU 95.9 FM and Burton Bell Carr need you at the upcoming Central Neighborhood Town Hall meeting this Wednesday, August 18th at 6 p.m., located at the Arbor Park Place Shopping Plaza, 2500 East 40th Street in Cleveland, on the southwest corner of Community College Avenue and East 40th Street. Indoors if there's bad weather. Learn about available jobs and Cuyahoga County services and resources with panelists Armand Budish, Cuyahoga County Executive, Pernell Jones Jr., Cuyahoga County Council President, and Dolores Gray, City of Cleveland Council Member. County and city leaders will discuss the Central Neighborhood Surge, listen to your suggestions, and take your questions. School supplies and refreshments will be provided. Join us this Wednesday, August 18th at 6 p.m. at the Arbor Park Place Shopping Plaza, 2500 East 40th Street in Cleveland. For more information, contact Burton Bell Carr at 216-341-1455. 216-341-1455. Cuyahoga County, together we thrive. This message is brought to you by WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Why you want to WOVU 95.9 FM? Here's the reason why. We play all independent music for Cleveland artists. Yes, we do each and every night. We support the community. We support the Cleveland local artists. This is what we do. And we got the hottest playlist from gospel, R&B, from rap, to hip hop, and also we have jazz right here, WOVU 95.9 FM. Don't forget to download our app right now, WOVU. This is Burton Bell Carr.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I am here with Willie Epting Jr. And make sure that you are keeping us locked here on terrestrial radio. You can also listen to us online at WOVU.org. You can always give us a call if you want to talk some sports to us at 216-271-0959. And you can feel free to also download that WOVU app so you can take your favorite personalities with you on the go so you can listen to me and Willie on Tuesdays here on WOVU. What's up, Willie, sir? How you doing, man?
Everything is great.
Yeah, just had to take a quick break. I left out on a deep note. Sorry I had to go there, but, it's just the honest God's truth. And, if you look at it times throughout history, anytime Black people have made political advancement or any type of advancement, it's always met with a white backlash. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at on everything at this point. So even, you look at it with COVID, you look at the medical disparities. What is a backlash? They know who mainly is dying of the disease, so they don't want to have any mask mandates. Even something so simple, they're discouraging people to get the vaccine. Even something so simple to keep people alive. I'm just sick of it and over it.
Yeah. And I don't want to talk about it anymore because we're getting too serious.
Well, but sometimes you got to, hit the serious stuff. And, even though this is a sports show, we do talk a little, politics and stuff like that. We kind of left it alone because we've been kind of busy, but it was time for us to talk about the Cleveland baseball team. So the Cleveland baseball team went in the extra innings last night and they did not prevail. So kind of not surprised at this point. You kind of watch a team that's slowly imploding, slowly and tanking and pretty much only being able to beat the worst teams in their division. And that's where we're at.
Stop. you can't say that anymore because Cleveland is now one of the worst teams.
Well, Detroit is far worse than us, and
no. Detroit is right there behind you.
Yeah, so we have more wins than them. We beat them.
Okay.
So they're still a bad team. We're a bad team now. Yeah. We are officially a bad team. Now, we can't even jump the shark. It's over. It's over and done with. So that's what I mean. You know, the lower competition, that's who, you know, we can beat, and barely, because they, you know, we took 2 out of 3. But, you know, Tristan McKenzie pretty much had to have a perfect game for us to be able to do it. So what are your thoughts on T-Eazy and him almost having a perfect game until that single came in the 8th inning, the bottom of the 8th?
You know, I watched the game and he was dealing. And I'm a Tristan McKenzie fan. And just in case, Sticks, you're listening, I believe you really do have a future in this game. This year has been somewhat of an experiment, for the lack of a better word, for you, but you have shown so much flash and really a lot of greatness potential within you. And I was really pulling, not just for the perfect game, but for at least the no-hitter. And when the no-hitter was broken up and he was taken out of the game, I really didn't have an issue with it, him being taken out at that point. But man, that was a solid outing. I mean, when you talk about that, and what I had predicted, Rachel, back in whatever it was, May, dang near came true. When I said that the Cleveland Indian or the Cleveland baseball team would not only be no hit, but they would actually no hit somebody, and it almost happened.
Well, we've had 2 official no-hitters, but yeah, we've had 4, so that's happened. Hasn't been a perfect game for Cleveland Indians since Lynn Barker, 1981. So that didn't happen for Tristan, but it came so close. But one of the things that you hope came out of it was that confidence for him, because, you know, one of the things about this generation is they talk about mental illness, they talk about mental issues, they talk about when they're just not feeling it. And that was one of the things that he addressed, is that, you know, mentally he wasn't there in order to be able to locate his pitches. And he's been bounced back and forth between the bigs and, you know, AAA Columbus. And every time he's came back up, he's looked better and better. And to go 8 innings, and, you know, it's at times you want them to be taken out, but you like, man, I want them to have this perfect game. And, you know, he was left in to accomplish it and achieve it. I don't believe in announcer's curse, because pretty much the whole time Tom Hamilton had been announcing, you know, he has a perfect game. He has a perfect game. It's on the players. It's not on the announcers. But, you know, I'm so happy for him. He almost did it. And I think it's just great for him.
Mm-hmm. Something he definitely can build on for the rest of the year. I would like to see him get his ERA under 5 to have just to be able to look at that number and say, yo, I brought it from this down to this. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a mental thing for me as a person that loves numbers. I mean, oh my gosh, it's like a OCD thing for me with numbers, but I know that.
What kind of numbers?
Okay, now you want to dig into my personal life. Okay, I'll tell you.
Even or odd?
No, it has nothing to do with even or odd. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna do this. Did
you want to finish your point first and then go back?
No,
I interrupted you.
I don't even want to go back. I'm gonna show you something. Look at this phone. Okay, ladies and gentlemen out there watching on Facebook, you see all those numbers on there, the 1 and the 3 and the 14 and the 12. I can't stand that. That has to be clear for me. I like 0 emails, 0 voicemails, 0 text messages. I like the number 0 because it makes me feel like I'm cluttered, and I hate clutter. Okay, so back to our regularly scheduled programming. That was the Shakeback's life coaching sports moment of the moment. So I'm thinking that if he's some sort of creature of habit, like all these athletes or most of these athletes are, he may be one of those type of players that want to see a certain number. And I believe that getting it under 5 for him would maybe actually activate something in his mental and be like, yo, I really did improve in spite of me being up and down from Columbus to Cleveland and back Cleveland to Columbus. I mean, him burning Interstate 71 up, I'm sure. And I'm rooting for that kid, man. I really am.
Yeah, how can you not? It's only 5 black pitchers in all of Major League Baseball, and he is one of them. The Cleveland Indians has one on their roster. There's only 3 black managers in all of Major League Baseball, and the Cleveland baseball team has one of them. So how can you not root for what has kind of came out to be special stories of the season? But yeah, a lot of people are rooting for him because at the end of the day, you know, we want this kid to be part of our starting rotation starting back next year. And when the rotation was healthy, you had Shane Bieber, then you had Zach Plesac as your number 2. You had Aaron Savali as your number 3, Tristan as your number 4, and Logan Allen as number 5. And Logan is MIA and didn't pitch very well. So that could easily be Cal Quantrill, who started off yesterday against Minnesota and gave up 2 hits very early in the game. He gave up a home run to Max Kepler. I swear to God, Max Kepler owns the Indians. He gave up a solo shot to Max Kepler and gave up another run, and then he kind of settled down. And, you know, this kind of was a tie game back and forth. And then in the 10th inning, they loaded the bases on the corners, a third and first, and there was a single in the corner that drove it in, and that was it. So Minnesota has been a team that has struggled this season too, but, you know, they are one of the best. I think they might be 5th best in the majors on home runs.
Yeah, they've always been up there in the home run conversation as a team. And if you think about it, it was just 2 years ago when they and the Yankees both broke single season home run records for a team. But I got a question for you, Rachel.
Yes,
and
sir.
for everybody out there watching and listening. Raise your hand if I would have told you that by August the 17th, Cal Quantrill would be the pitcher that leads your rotation in innings pitched. Raise your hand if you do that.
I can't raise my hand because I never thought
Okay.
that would happen.
Raise your hand if you thought that on August the 17th, Shane Bieber, who has not pitched seemingly since last year, would lead your team with 130 strikeouts, but we're on August the 17th as opposed to it being maybe May 17th with that number. Raise your hand. Nobody's raising their hand. Okay. One final question. Raise your hand if you thought Aaron Savali would at any point this season reach double-digit wins.
And should I add and then go out?
Yeah. Well, no.
Yeah.
Just double-digit wins. Period.
Well, we knew he was capable of that. Yes. I mean, with this rotation was supposed to be the best in baseball. So with the expectation of him being the best in baseball, yes, you are supposed to see 2-digit win amounts, I think. Yes.
I think you're right. I think this was supposed to be Shane with about 16, Aaron Savali with about 14, and maybe Logan Allen with about 12.
Yeah. I mean, what has happened this season, nobody can see coming. And I think it's important to note, you have to say injuries played a role. You have to say that. And you know, because Tito's like, you know, we don't believe in saying, woe is me, you know. But at the end of the day, it's okay to give this team the excuse that this is part of injuries. We're going to take another break really quickly, Willie. But one thing I want to ask you about is the Field of Dreams game and what you thought about that, because we haven't been here together. So we're going to talk about that a little bit in a little Trevor Bauer. Then we're going to move on to some hoops action. So we're going to be right back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM, and we will be right back.
Food fanatics rejoice. WOVU 95.9 FM and the Greater Cleveland Delta Foundation are bringing you the Mobile Food Pantry Food Giveaway, Saturday, August 21st from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 11955 Shaker Boulevard in Cleveland. This is a free event to distribute food to the community, and everyone is welcome. All you have to do is drive up, pop your trunk, and drive away. Here to serve, rain or shine. Visit the Greater Cleveland Delta Foundation's Facebook page to learn more about this free mobile food pantry food giveaway. Saturday, August 21st from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 11955 Shaker Boulevard in Cleveland. Brought to you by the Greater Cleveland Delta Foundation and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Life is getting back on track, and you can too. If you or your family have experienced financial hardship as a result of COVID-19, Tri-C can help with tuition assistance. Safely get the in-demand degree or training you need with online and on-campus classes. Go to tri-c.edu to check out our programs and resources. So, what are you waiting for? Register now for fall classes. Tri-C is where futures begin.
This message is brought to you by Tri-C and WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM. Make sure you're listening to us online at WOVU.org. You can give us a call, 216-271-0959, and make sure you download that WOVU app so you can listen to us on the go. This is Rachel Hill. I am here with Willie Epteen Jr., and we were just talking about the Cleveland baseball team and how they failed last night to the Minnesota Twins and the things that were expected to them at the beginning of the season. And unfortunately, injuries had cut the progress of the season into what people thought it was going to be. And right now, this team is out of contention. And to me, they are done. It's just too far a hill to climb. And the Indians are not capable of doing that, which is absolutely okay. So one of the things that we Field of Dreams. So we hadn't had a chance to talk about that. What are your thoughts about the Field of Dreams game and how it ended?
Hollywood couldn't have written a better script. Period, point blank. But I think, and Mike Martinez actually, and I talked about this on the hashtag Brothers of Baseball show this week. Excuse me, that baseball has become very good about doing things outside the box. You know, like what we've seen with the NFL, with games being played in Mexico City and in London and all that. Baseball has figured it out, if you ask me, and this is what has been needed for quite some time. Tim Anderson is a very, very good to great player. I actually had him tabbed as my MVP for the AL last year, and the fun and the excitement that was on those kids' faces when they were out there playing, the whole thing of them coming through the cornfield onto the field.
That was my favorite part. That was so dope. That was dope.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, baseball, you need to do more of this.
Yeah,
I actually think, because they have actually came out and announced today that the game is gonna be played again next year. And it's going to be between the Cubs and somebody.
Oh, really? They announced the teams already?
Yeah, they announced the teams already.
Are they doing a series or just one game?
I think it's just going to be one game. I didn't see all of it, but I actually had chills, and now I'm like, okay, that's another thing that's on the bucket list because I gotta see that in person. Cubs and Reds. Thanks, Nate. He says Cubs and Reds, and the Reds. Oh my gosh, the Reds are on fire. They are on
the
fire.
Reds. I think when I see that game, I'd rather see a more historical team than the Reds play against the Cubs. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of historical perspective with the Reds. I mean, not recently, but
yeah, I want old.
Yeah,
I mean, because how long have the Cubs been around? Like, I want old like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, the Cubs were like one of the first teams in the history, in the history of athletics. So not just baseball. Okay, George says Angels versus Indians, Williamsport. Home.
Yeah, I was about to mention that right after we finished talking about that.
Yeah,
that came through quick for you. It just came through now for me.
Well, I'm reading it in the comment section, so I won't spoil it for you going forward.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, so I think baseball with that and with the game in Williamsport, I think, and George, I mean not George, but Mike actually said this on my show. He's looking for them to do it at the location of the Sandlot next. Which, if they pull that off, that will be tremendously dope. And then, because baseball needs to reach the younger audience, they have to. I mean, old geezers like me and you, man, we're not gonna be around because we
were. Hold on, excuse me, what?
Okay, old geezers like me.
Okay, thank you.
Ain't gonna be around for forever. And you know, I come from that era of baseball when Ricky Henderson was stealing 100 bases a year. You know what I'm saying? And that's exciting. But oh my God, I'm gonna go on a whole nother tangent. To answer your question, I thought the game was dope. I thought the movie was dope. It couldn't have been scripted any better if it was on a Hollywood film. And I'm looking forward to them doing it with much more consistency in the future.
Yeah, it was a cornfield in Iowa, and A-Rod pointed out that black players stole the show, which we know that the league only has about 80 black players in their total out of over 300 players. And some black players. So I think it was great hopefully there were some little black boys there watching the game, and hopefully they'll be attracted to the sport of baseball. But I thought it was great. I had a great time. I was busy doing something as well. So I was watching it on and off. And then, when Aaron Judge hit that home run, and I missed the Tim Anderson home run. Unfortunately, it went off on my phone. So I turned back right quick. I was behind the green screen at the time. And I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I missed it. But I just think that it was a great game between two storied franchises, two franchises who are doing good in postseason contention. So I think that was a great outcome. I think that I would rather a series be played there instead of one game or one and done, because I think that there was so much done and so much build up. Just have a series there, and unfortunately, a team is going to lose that gate revenue for a series, but why not? It was such a cool idea. I'm excited to see what is going to happen in Williamsport this weekend as well, because they released what the uniforms are going to look like. They had Shohei Ohtani in the uniform, and they also had Tristan McKenzie and what the uniforms are going to look like, and those look dope. So I'm excited to see what those are going to look like. And I guess maybe they had the Angels do it because they already came from across the country anyway, so it'll be a short flight to Williamsport for them. But I think it was very well done. The movie has had a surge in people wanting to watch it, because I think it was released in 1992. A whole new generation is discovering who Kevin Costner or James Earl Jones is, and if you build it, they will come. So I think baseball did a heck of a job, and I'd love to see teams be able to play there once a year, rotate in and out. So I think that would be something good. Maybe it's something that they can keep going, like you said, like the NFL plays, in England, but the NFL is working hard to be a global game. Baseball already is, but I think it'd be great to see teams, be able to play a series there and move on. So, but yeah, the game was really exciting, and baseball got something right. So I'm eager to see what will happen on Sunday. So yesterday we talked about Trevor Bauer a little bit. This situation with him is getting really bad. There were some details that came out today, some really graphic details. I asked Kate yesterday, did she ever think that Trevor Bauer would play in the league again? And she was a yes, and I was a yes, because I said Major League Baseball does not have the domestic violence problems that football has. So Trevor Bauer will be playing again. People are given opportunities and second chances, and I believe that he will be. And it doesn't matter how I feel about the allegations or what he's going through right now. It's just simply, will he be playing baseball again? And I said, I absolutely believe that he will, no matter if I think it's wrong or right. What are your thoughts about that, Willie?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys when you say that baseball does not have the domestic issues or domestic abuse or violence or allegations as the other sports. But here's the thing, though. Right is right, and wrong is wrong. I'm not saying he should be banned for life, but he should get a minimum of 80 games.
Like
And
the PED users.
that's exactly. That's why I say a minimum. I mean, you can give him 100 if you want to without pay. Okay. Because if these allegations turn out to be true, I don't think Major League Baseball, like the NFL, like the NBA, I don't think they need a criminal conviction to act on their own behalf in terms of punishment or discipline for their employees or their players. So if that's the case, then they need to stick it to him, because he did these things in the timing that it has come out. Is very, very unfortunate. And and just for the on the field part for the Dodgers, but off the field, when the momentum that baseball has had, we just talked about the Field of Dreams. We're talking about the Little League World Series location game. We just came off of the most exciting Major League trade deadline in as long as I can remember. And then you have this hanging in the background from a player who, oh, by the way, won the Cy Young Award last year in the National League.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one of your well-known players. He's
He's
one of your premier pitchers. And then now all of this is going on. So he needs to get disciplined in a way that will deter this type of activity, or even a thought of this type of activity going on. As George says, Drone Boy is done for 2021. Yep, but may come back in 2022. My thoughts until the whole situation is investigated is completed. I actually heard, Rachel and George, anybody else out there that's watching and listening, I actually heard that many people and many players on the Dodgers don't want him back.
I'm not surprised, because they weren't too sad when he left Cleveland. He's a very polarizing figure. And I tell people, I don't know if I had a chance to tell you that, there's a Sports Illustrated article about him that's very long, but it was a great read because it helped you understand, a lot about Trevor. And one thing is, Trevor was bullied a lot. I was bullied a lot as well. And it changes you for life. And one thing, he wore baseball pants to school every day. Now, I did not. I was just bullied for how I was looked and called ugly every day. So that's completely different. I wasn't really bullied that much for my attire. But, it changes who you are. It changes your mindset. And oftentimes, sometimes you're not emotionally strong. And I struggled. I still struggle to this day with the fact that I was bullied. But that article gives you a lot of insight into who he was. And I didn't get a chance to talk to him because he kind of, unfortunately, after I read the article, he kind of threw a baseball 400 yards into the outfield. And that was the last game with Cleveland. But one of the things I wanted to do was actually talk to him about that article and let him know we actually had something in common, because it helped me understand why he was as polarizing as he was and why a lot of people don't like his attitude. I do not have the same attitude as he is, but I'm not a baseball player. I don't make millions of dollars a year. And, your whole life you try to silence your critics, and he gets involved in sports in which you're criticized all the time. But it's an excellent article, and you can kind of see how he became who he was. And he is not a locker room favorite. Obviously pitchers are his best friends. Mike Clevenger was his best friend, and Mike Clevenger wasn't really liked amongst the Indians locker room either, especially when he pulled that stunt with Zach Plesac. But kind of birds of a feather flock together. But that was a very long-winded answer. But Trevor Bauer is a different cat. He's a different cat. And, when you are bullied so to the extent, some people get over it completely and other people don't. And I don't think he's ever gotten over it completely. And I think that's kind of transformed him to who he is and how he acts and why he acts the way. I'm no psychologist, but as somebody who has something happen to him, I completely understand how he did.
Yeah. And George says, do we think that the Dodgers should let him go and eat the contract? I know that they don't want to eat $28 million a year. Now, I'm pretty sure.
Not even the Dodgers.
Well, and the good thing about baseball is that there will be no type of cap hit. So and there may be some sort of buyout clause on both sides or what have you. But if they're gonna get out of this contract, they're gonna try to get out of it for paying nothing. And I'm sure there's some clauses in these contracts that will void the terms of the said contract should something like this happen, and then he's ultimately found guilty or whatnot. Man, we need to keep our eye on this, baby, because this is not going away.
Well, but the thing is, I don't know if it's going to trial, but the thing is, the sex was consensual. They both admitted to it. So what it is having to prove, and this might be difficult for her, but it's for her to prove that, he did punch her in the buttocks. He did punch her in the vagina. He did choke her unconscious. And I'm not sure, what those text messages say, but obviously there's a text message chain between the two of them. Did you go to the hospital? And I'm not saying that I don't believe her, because I was a sexual assault, domestic violence advocate. So I went to the hospital when women had been raped and they had been beaten. But, I look at it like it might be an uphill climb, because pretty much it is her word versus his. And these encounters were consensual from what is being said and what pretty much has been said by both parties.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a strange one. This is going to be interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see the move that the Los Angeles Dodgers make as well. Could people continue to want him on the team as long as they were winning? Because for everything, winning cures all.
Yeah, but they have already, from what I've been hearing, that they've already said that the majority of that team does not want him back. Now, we know that that's going to be up to Magic Johnson and all the rest of those people up there making all that money. But I look at it from this standpoint, because it has really hurt the Dodgers' rotation depth.
Yeah.
And what was thought to be the strength of their team is now looking like the weakness of their team. When you're going out and getting Max Scherzer, they had to do that. They had to.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
All right, we're going to take a break right quick. None of us know, but we're going to keep our eye out on it. It's super interesting. But we'll be right back. This is Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM.
In school this fall, with the CMSD Learning Experience, you'll get more. The Cleveland Metropolitan School District programs live and in person, and it all starts on August 23rd. Student health services, free. 2 meals per day, transportation and internet access, free. Each student gets issued the right laptop, tablet, and technology, plus amazing activities for the whole family, also free. Enroll at CMSD and get more. Sign up at choosecmsd.org.
This message is brought to you by Cleveland Metropolitan School District and WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
WOVU listeners, the Cleveland Clinic and university hospitals have begun to administer the COVID-19 vaccine booster shot. The FDA has approved this third dose to help fight off the Delta variant, and the CDC recommends it for those with moderate to severe compromised immune systems. This includes people who have been receiving active cancer treatment for tumors or cancers of the blood, people who have received an organ transplant and are taking medicine to suppress the immune system, and people who have received a stem cell transplant within the last 2 years, or are taking medicine to suppress the immune system. Visit cdc.gov for a complete list of individuals that the CDC recommends receiving the COVID-19 vaccine booster shot. The Cleveland Clinic and university hospitals have also encouraged individuals to get the initial vaccine if they have not already done so. This important update is brought to you from the WOVU newsroom.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I am here with Willie Epteen Jr., the Shake Back Sports Show, Shake Back Sports Network, and all the other type of stuff he does, because it's a long list, because he's amazing. So he gets to do all these wonderful things outside of co-hosting Her in the Huddle. Some football news just broke. I know we got NBA slated, but I don't know if you saw, but Josh Rosen was just waived by the San Francisco 49ers. Does Josh Rosen, who was a quarterback, who was a number 10 overall pick, does he play football ever again, or is he done?
Yeah, he'll play again.
For who? I remember when it was something about the Browns, because we were so quarterback thirsty. I remember people talking about they were wondering for the Browns.
Well, he'll play again, but he'll be hitting the circle button, the X button, the triangle button. You know,
what video game system is that?
Pick one. Pick one. Nah, but I think for Josh Rosen, he kind of buried himself because he didn't really want to play football.
What did he want to do?
He didn't want to play. He didn't want to play football. There's a difference between playing football and just being on the team. And he just wanted to be on the team. But you can't just be on the team in the NFL. You got to go out there and do it. That's how you get paid. And he's taken, I'm pretty sure he got what, maybe $15, $20 million in his career. And now, you know, he's done. If you look, he may get picked up by somebody later in the year when injuries start to mount up, but in terms of trying to be a starter, he can forget it.
Yeah, I'm looking. He said it's been a pleasure. I look forward to coming to work every day. And Kyle, so he liked playing in Kyle Shanahan's offense. And we know that Kyle Shanahan can be brilliant, because you saw that he was able to kind of help a clown named Johnny Manziel actually look halfway decent. But that was Kyle Shanahan. So he enjoyed playing in that offense. But he said it was hard to get into rhythm when you're not getting as many reps as the top two quarterbacks. And obviously that is behind Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance, who is projected to be the starter. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to him. But man, that was a quick flame out, because they don't have the year he was drafted, but it was just a couple years ago. Oh, he's 24 years old. So did he come out early?
No, I think he came out as a senior, but I want to say it was 2018 or 19.
Okay, man, that didn't take long at all.
As a matter of fact, I can tell you when it was, because this is Kyler Murray's third year. So it would be he came out in 2018. Kyler Murray came out in 19. Last year he won Rookie of the Year in 2019. So Josh Rosen came out in 2018, because when they hired, when they hired Pretty Boy out of Texas Tech,
Kingsbury,
Pretty Boy, I can't think of his name. The coach for the Cardinals, Kingsbury. Yeah, whatever. So okay. You said that. I heard you the first time. So I'm getting uncomfortable. So yeah.
You should be.
Yeah, it's making me uncomfortable. So yeah, it was 1 year later, because I remember Kingsbury saying that if he had the number one pick, this was before he even got the job, he would pick Kyler Murray. He recruited Kyler Murray out of high school, Allen High School, right here north of Dallas. So it was going to be a match made in football heaven for those two, and Rosen didn't stand a chance.
How far is Texas Tech from you?
6 hours.
Okay, we have somebody here at the station who graduated from Texas Tech.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to ask him what made him go all the way out there, but you know, he'd be repping his little Texas Tech. And I forgot to ask you how far away from it was.
Yeah, it's about 6-7 hours away.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for him. I don't, but I kind of do.
For Josh Rosen?
Yeah, I kind of feel bad, a little bad.
I feel bad for him.
I know he made a lot of money, and I'm sure he's going to be okay after he leaves the league. I'm pretty sure on that. His name is Josh Rosen. I'm pretty sure he's going to be okay. But I just feel bad that in 3 years you suck. But that is one of the tales that they give us, that, you know, the average NFL career is 3 to 4 years, and Here you see it. You said you don't think that there's a hope or a prayer for him to get on another roster.
You better do his thumb exercises.
Yeah. So we didn't get a chance to get to that baseball list about what could be redone in baseball, but did want to get to a little basketball really quickly. And what did you think about Joel Embiid's contract? Because he just signed a contract of $196 million for 4 years. Did Philly waste money?
Wait, what?
I said, did Philly waste money? They signed him 4 years for $196 million.
No, they didn't. They need to get rid of that other dude, Lionel Simmons.
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons. Uncle Ben. They need to get rid of him. As a matter of fact, shout out to my homegirl Tori from the block on Instagram. She is a crazy Philadelphia fan. She lives, I guess, somewhere near Philly. And she had posted something on Twitter on today about should the Celtics trade Jaylen Brown, or should the Sixers trade Ben Simmons to the Celtics for Jaylen Brown? And I was like, yo, the Sixers need to trade Ben Simmons for James Brown, the Brown cow, whoever, to get that dude out of Philly. Joel Embiid is a bona fide superstar, bona fide, and this money was well deserved. So now his contract worth up to $260 million up until I want to say 2027.
Well, he's going to be making $40 million a year. Lord, my God, why can't you or I be born with some special skills?
Huh?
I said, why can't you or I be born with some special skills?
We got special skills. We doing it now.
What did Nate say? Side note, the quarterback from Ohio State picked up from South Lake Carroll High School. I watched him play. He looked good in high school. Yeah, he's talking about Quinn Ewers. Yeah, we're anticipating him having a big year for Ohio State. And who knows if CJ Stroud will now be starting.
Yeah, I saw that kid play. South Lake Carroll played my son's school last year, and I think it was game in the third or fourth game. Final score was like 72-58 or something crazy like that. And he was just picking our defense apart. They didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, I'm excited. Ohio State starts, I believe, September 6th or something like that. Probably like the week right before the Browns start. So, just eagerly, patiently awaiting so that your Saturdays will be taken up, your Sundays will be taken up. But we got to be wrapping up right now because we're almost out of here. But Christmas Day, what do you think about the slate Christmas Day? And why isn't the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks going to go at it? Because normally they have the teams that played in the finals play on Christmas Day. Why did they get shafted? I don't appreciate that. They should be playing on Christmas Day like every other finals matchup over the past few years.
Because the Bucks will be the most disrespected champion in quite some time. And you could say that the Phoenix Suns will be the most disrespected runner-up in quite some time. Through no faults of their own. Yeah,
so the NBA is punishing them for that. The NBA got an issue. Why you're punishing your own teams? Because I think people would want to see that rematch.
I don't think they would. I don't think they would.
I would.
Well, when you can control who's playing on that day, okay, when you can actually slate in who's playing on that day and at what time. Ain't nobody want to see the Suns. Let's be real. Nobody wants to see the Suns.
I wouldn't mind seeing it. I thought it was a great series. It was something different.
Mm-hmm.
Your current slate that you got the Hawks and Knicks, the playoff matchup down Utah. That was another playoff matchup. And you got the Nets and Lakers, who no telling who's going to win out of that one. But, they disrespectful to people. But, Willie, I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you. And very, very quickly, tell people how they can get at you.
At Shakeback Media Group on Twitter and Instagram. And go there and you'll see everything else that we got going on.
All right. And you can get at me at 1ST, Lady of Sports. And you've been listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. And we are out of here.